John Harbaugh on the right, season number 18 with the Baltimore Ravens, and Dan Campbell, season number 5. Two guys that guided their teams into the postseason, 2 division winners a year ago. Lamar Jackson getting set to roll. He'll watch his defense start tonight. Little pop-up kick. And Jacob Sailors, former UFL player with the St. Louis Battlehawks, spins his way out across the 30, and that's it. Forward progress is stopped. It's a return of 22 yards, and here comes Jared Goff. Last week against the Bears, completed passes at 82%. You see the yardage, only 5 incompletions to go with his 5 touchdown passes.
Yeah, and it's what we had come to expect when you watch Jared Goff the last several years with Ben Johnson calling plays. And as we talked about coming into this game, week 1 didn't go as he would like, nor the Detroit Lions. But last week they got back on track. Another big test on the road tonight.
Here's Gibbs. Not much. The rookie Malachi Starks came down to make the stop, and he was not alone. We'll look at the skilled position players for the Detroit Lions, and they're as good as any group has around the National Football League. And Troy, their offensive line looks different than it did a year ago.
It really does. That's always been the strength with Dan Campbell as the head coach. But when Frank Ragnow retired and then Kevin Zeitler, he went to Tennessee, it affected 3 positions.
On second down, Goff has a wide open Jameson Williams and a spinning catch out of bounds near the 40. He is their downfield big chunk yardage receiver, and that one good for 24.
No, it's such a good job of him as he comes off the ball because of the speed that you talk about, Joe. He gets the secondary turning and running. You see the safety, how he just clears out because of the deep ball that they're concerned about. They showed that last week. Big touchdown reception by Jameson Williams in that win last week against Chicago.
Hand off to Gibbs, and right there is Owe. And Odafe Owe makes the stop at a loss of 3.
Well, they come in here and they've got 2 tight ends, but that's Brock Wright, number 89, and Owe, he just kind of beats him right off the ball inside, and just no opportunity to get anything going.
Lions struggled to run the ball week 1 at Green Bay. They were outstanding running it against Chicago. Here's Gibbs again, able to pick his way and make third down a little more manageable. A gain of 7. We can look at this defense for Baltimore a couple of different ways. Maybe the easiest way is to tell you who's not there. And that's Jair Alexander, second straight week he's on the shelf, still rehabbing the knee. Nnamdi Madubuike, who is right there in your screen, a big presence up front. And their sack leader from a year ago, Kyle Van Noy. Third down and 6. Goff protected, fires, and another catch for Williams. He's got one for 24, this one for 19. And Jameson Williams, who they've rewarded with a new contract, 2 big plays.
Yeah, and the reason is because he has so much speed coming off the ball. The Ravens are trying to play coverage, and they're trying to run this umbrella over the top and not give anything up down the field. You see how those safeties get out of there. They're worried that he's going to go deep, and all of that underneath coverage then opens up for him to make the easy completion.
Here's Gibbs. Montgomery was out there blocking. He went to the right. Gibbs went to the left and picks up 2. We haven't even seen a check on Amon-Ra St. Brown, who is their top threat on the outside. He's their leading receiver with 13 catches already this season. You can pencil him in for 100+ catches a year. He does everything. He's kind of the anti-diva. He blocks. He's a great teammate. Jared Goff would take him over everybody if you put them all in a big draft. He'd take 14.
Pretty impressive when he said he's the best receiver he's ever thrown to.
Second down and 8. Gibbs tried to stay inbounds. His momentum carried him out. A gain of 5, so 3rd and short coming up, and you know the deal with Dan Campbell. Anytime he got 3rd down, you think about 4th down, and Dan Campbell, nobody goes for 4th downs more than that head coach.
Well, especially when you're looking at 3rd and 3, because at 3rd and 5, if it's beyond the 50-yard line, he's going for it on 4th down over 50% of the time. So you look at it right now, and Johnny Morton, the offensive coordinator, said Dan Campbell would have told him already if they're going to go for it on 4th down to affect what he might call now on 3rd.
Came underneath to Gibbs, incomplete. And what does Campbell do? He keeps the offense out there. They already knew it. Goff was aware of it. 4th and 3, and they'll go for it.
Yeah, the right idea. I like what Jared Goff was trying to do, just really a miscommunication with him and Jahmyr Gibbs on what Gibbs exactly was doing, but here's the first big decision for Dan Campbell. I always like coming away with points on the opening drive on the road against a good opponent. We'll see if this pays off for him.
A lot of movement, play clock at 3. Goff. There's St. Brown. First catch, a big one. 1st and goal. Working against Kyle Hamilton, who made the stop. Jahmyr Gibbs delivered a great block. And a gain of 7 in a fresh set.
Well, it's good on good. It doesn't get better than this. I'm on St. Brown, and then you got Kyle Hamilton, and just an excellent route, Joe. You talked about it a moment ago, just all the things that he can do. He just doesn't telegraph it. He comes off the line of scrimmage. Hamilton knows the down and distance. He knows what he's going to try to do, the depth, but he still couldn't jump it because he was so disciplined in how he ran the route.
Here's Gibbs. Fighting, and he's going to be brought down at the 1. 2nd down and goal after Gibbs got 3. And the Lions want to go right back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, they want to get right back on the line and see if they can't catch Baltimore just off a little bit, unable to get a call into the defense.
Gibbs, touchdown. What a good start for the Lions. The conversion on 4th down. Lamar Jackson will try to answer. And the Lions, who put up 52 on the Bears, have 1 possession. And into the end zone they go.
A lot of Amon-Ra here. Here he is leading the way this time as the lead blocker. An excellent job of just helping kind of seal it. And Khalif Raymond getting up there as well. If you're going to play wide receiver, not only do you have to be able to catch the football in this offense, you better be able to block, and a willing blocker, and all of these Lions receivers are capable of that.
Extra point from Jake Bates. Low snap. Kick is good. Jared Goff telling us about St. Brown. Give you the numbers and get into those numbers just a little bit more when Lamar takes the field here in a second, as the Lions went down and scored, and now Bates kicks it away. It landed in the landing zone and goes into the end zone. Pythagoras tells me that that means it comes out to the 20. Is that right?
Right.
I think I'm right. Here are the numbers. 7. Russell York says you're right, dum-dum. 7 and 2, and that's a record. But look at the pass touchdowns, rush touchdowns, and no interceptions.
Yeah, we've called some of those games and been pretty impressive watching him over the years and what he does under the lights. He just continues to get better and better, and he's playing with as much confidence right now as I've seen, especially with his ability in the pocket.
They fake it to Derrick Henry, and wide open is Andrews. They want to get him more involved tonight, and Mark, who had 2 catches total over the first 2 games, is good for 19 yards.
Yeah, not a lot of opportunities here the first couple of weeks, but you know it's just a matter of time, and here they open up this 3rd week with a pass to reliable number 89. You know it was a tough offseason for him last year, the way the season ended with him in that playoff loss to Buffalo, but he's one of the all-time great tight ends, no doubt.
He fumbled in that Buffalo game. He dropped a potential 2-point conversion in the end zone. Hutchinson is going to cost the Lions 5.
Neutral zone infraction, defense number 97. 5-yard penalty, Still first down.
And just to finish on Mark Andrews, after that game, he didn't speak with the media, but he went to Instagram and he said, among other things, he's absolutely gutted by what happened. And then coming into this year, I'm a pro. That's what I do. He's back, and talking to John Harbaugh, he said, if you want to know his mindset, watch him block.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting, saying that if his mind wasn't in it, his heart wasn't in it, you wouldn't see him blocking as well as he is. Says he's blocking as good over the first couple of weeks as he has at any time in his career.
High formation. Henry will take the ball with a lead back in front of him and just plow for a first down. Take a look at this offense for Baltimore as they're trying to answer that opening salvo from the Lions. Zay Flowers is their #1 receiver. We just saw Derrick Henry. We've seen Mark Andrews already. D-Hop is still doing it at 33 years old. DeAndre Hopkins. And the offensive line, that center is outstanding. Tyler Linderbaum, 2-time Pro Bowler.
Yeah, he's one of the best centers in football, and I just think that the organization, Eric DeCosta, has done a great job really putting a lot of good players around Lamar Jackson in recent years.
Lamar keeps and cuts and slips, but has another first down for the Ravens as he's able to get 12.
Well, you think you got him, but you don't got him, because it's Lamar Jackson and Derek Barnes, who puts himself in a perfect position to be able to come up and make a play. He's right there, but then Lamar is able to just cut on a dime and get it going up the field, and he's not the first guy that we've seen Lamar do that to. He won't be the last, not even tonight.
No quarterback in NFL history has rushed for more yards in a career than Lamar Jackson. First down Ravens, quick throw, Andrews again. Kirby Joseph, the All-Pro, made the stop, but another chunk of yardage and a gain of 8.
You know what's interesting about that, Joe? You talk about the yardage that he's had running the football. The numbers have actually gone down over the course of his career, which is, you'd expect that. When you're young, you don't see the defense as well. And then as you mature, you start to recognize, read coverages, all of that. But for Lamar, it's those things. And then in addition, just he's been surgical in the pocket when he's had time in finding open receivers.
Henry gets it this time, and the Lions step up. A gain of just 1. Derek Barnes, who was involved in that run by Lamar Jackson a moment ago, made that stop. It's 3rd down and 1. Aiden Hutchinson up front is kind of the last man standing. They put Marcus Davenport on IR today. Their linebackers real good with Anzalone and Jack Campbell. Derek Barnes has been involved tonight, and Brian Branch is just all over the place back there for the Lions.
You know, there are so many good players on both sides of the ball for both these teams as we take a look at Kelvin Shepherd.
Easy pickup. Forget first down. How about touchdown? There is a flag on the far side of the field. And this will count.
Outside. He's at the 95. Lined up in the neutral zone. Penalties decline. Result of the play. Touchdown.
I mean, Derrick Henry just gliding to the end zone. They needed 1 for a first down. They got 28 for a touchdown.
Roger Rosengarten in the right tackle, number 70. He comes off the ball. He does an outstanding job right there, kind of sealing it. And then there's Mark Andrews. We talked about his blocking as he gets up to the second level. Rosengarten clears things out, and then Mark Andrews is there to help kind of seal to allow Henry then on the edge. It's an outstanding job of execution.
The rookie Tyler Luke ties the game. Last week against Cleveland here at home, Derrick Henry as Luke kicks it away. Sailors again. Full head of steam and knocked down as he crossed the 30. Will go down to Lisa.
Yeah, Joe, well, Derrick Henry said what had been on his mind all week long was the fact that he fumbled in each of those first 2 games of the season and had the 23 rushing yards against the Browns. So for him, he said that he hadn't been playing up to standards. He said he didn't care that the Browns were basically stacking the box and selling out to stop the run. He said it's his job to make something happen no matter what. He said last week was his fault. He'd been replaying it all week in his mind. He could not wait to get out here tonight and break loose.
Yeah, Lisa, as if a man that size, 6'3", 252, needs any more inspiration to go after a team. He is inspired tonight. That was an incomplete pass. Pressure by Marlon Humphrey, who came on a blitz. You're saying that was a live ball. That looked like it was forward pass to me.
It looked like it was a forward pass to me as well. You're right. They brought Marlon Humphrey, and as you see, Amon-Ra St. Brown, he comes across. He's going to try to pick that up. But here's a look at whether or not it was live. Yeah, I think it's pretty clear that that was.
Well, they called that backward, and they moved the ball back. So now it's 2nd and 19 instead of 2nd and 10. I don't agree with that call. Here's Gibbs over the right side, and he was stood up at the line of scrimmage and got to the edge as Mike Green made that play no gain. Let's go back to that first down pass.
Yeah, so Joe, when you look at this pass, it looks like the ball is released right at about the 23-yard line. And then the question is, when it's first touched by a Detroit teammate, and it looks like it's right at the 23-yard line. I think it's slightly forward, but it's too close that they wouldn't have changed it if challenged.
Boy, they're not usually calling them that tight on a backwards pass, are they?
No.
It was a 9-yard loss. Now it's 3rd down and 19. Lions have to use a silent count. They set up a screen for Gibbs, and he's brought down at the 30, well short of a first down by Teddy Buchanan, a rookie they love.
Yeah, really hard when you're going up against any defense, but especially one as talented as this Ravens group. When you get behind the sticks, you know, after that ruling on first down, then it becomes a field position game. On 3rd down, you're trying to give as much yards as you can to your punter, see if you can't back them up a little bit. But what we've seen from the Ravens on both possessions, now granted the first one the Lions took it down for a touchdown, they're playing a lot of coverage. And they're inviting the Lions to try to run the football against some favorable looks. The Lions haven't had success when they've tried it.
Jack Fox to punt. Hits a beauty. DeJounte Wester is back. Fields. And gets hit hard. It's a 54-yard punt, 11-yard return. Second possession for the Ravens, and they will start this possession at their 27. We talk a lot about Derrick Henry and the size. His speed is incredible, and the power that he gets going in such a short amount of time. He and Jahmyr Gibbs, the Lions top back, get it going fast, and we'll show you some of the numbers that we can put to how they get rolling when the ball's snapped. I formation behind Jackson, who keeps and finds Kohler.
He's 250 pounds.
Well, he didn't get rolling this time. He got stopped.
And the durability that he has shown, and you know what's remarkable, Joe, as much as he's been the bell cow for so many years in the league, he just has a little over 50% of the carries that Emmitt Smith had in his career. So it kind of gives you an idea as how durable Emmitt Smith was. He missed just 4 games in the 13 years with the Cowboys. Pretty impressive.
3rd and 3, and this one for Justice Hill is incomplete. I don't know if you caught it, but Lamar's frustrated that he missed Hill on that throw. It's 4th down and a punt upcoming, but Derrick Henry was at 11.5 miles per hour when he hit the line of scrimmage on that 28-yard touchdown.
Well, and like I said, at 250 pounds, there's not a linebacker for the Lions that weighs 250 pounds. And so he's bigger than those guys that are mostly trying to tackle him. You got to get him at the line of scrimmage. It's happened a few times tonight, but that's the key.
Here's Khalif Raymond, who fielded the punt inside his 5. There's a flag down on the play, and Raymond just should have let it go into the end zone. TJ Tampa made the tackle. It was a 63-yard punt, and a flag was thrown early.
During the kick, holding, receiving team number 4. After this to the goal.
Back
down.
him up a little
Time
more.
out.
That's going to take the ball inside the 5. So Jared Goff and company back to work. Both games will be available on the all-new ESPN app.
So early in the season, you know, there's a lot of football left to be played, but there's also a lot of angst for some of these teams. It's got a little urgency as we go into week 4.
There's urgency here for the Lions starting at their 1.5. And they start with their bigger back of the 2. That's David Montgomery, who's able to push the pile forward, and he gets 4. Tavius Robinson was in there with help on the stop.
Well, that's a good job. I mean, that's a good sign. I know coming into this game, we talked about the young guards that the Lions have, and Christian Mahogany at left guard, and then Tate Radledge, the rookie at right guard, and how they handled week 1. It was a struggle, and last week was good at home. But here's another test on the road. Ravens knew what they were going to do there on first down. They got pretty good movement.
Flag on the play as Montgomery is wrapped up in the backfield. That play is made by John Jenkins. He's been doing it a long time, 13 years. Here's the call from Bill Vinovich.
Illegal formation, offense. The tight end was covered up by the wide receiver. The penalties declined. Result of the play, 3rd down.
Take the result of the play, a loss of 1, and that brings up 3rd and long.
Yeah, and they were able to decline the play because of the job by John Jenkins right in the middle. Glasgow, who was the starter at left guard last year, moves to center this year, and Jenkins just tosses him aside and is able to make the play for the 1-yard loss.
Frank Ragnow, the 4-time Pro Bowl center, retired in June, so they slide Glasgow over. It's 3rd down and 7. Goff protected, and he finds his tight end Laporta. A drive that started at the 1.5, and Sam Laporta has his 10th catch of the season, first of the night, good for 10.
Yeah, Malachi Starks, another rookie. He's number 24 for the Ravens, who's assigned Laporta in man coverage to try to guard him. Laporta comes in, maybe gets a little bit of a push at the top of that route, creating some separation, but there was no question. Once Goff sees the coverage, knowing that he had Laporta up against the rookie safety.
That's it for quarter number 1 here at M&T Bank Stadium. 7-7 game, first down for the Lions with the ball outside their 15 when we come back here at the end of week 3. Seven ball game as we start the second quarter. Nice first down picked up by Laporta and Goff. Jared Goff, who was the first overall pick in 2016 with the Rams. Took the Rams to Super Bowl 53 in 2018. Lost to the Patriots 13-3. A couple years later, he's traded to the Lions. It was a shock. It was a surprise. He's called it the best thing that's happened to him in his career, and he has taken off since getting to Detroit. 6 for 7 tonight. 37 touchdown passes a year ago. Play action. He's got Montgomery out of the backfield, and David Montgomery gets a block from Laporta and lowers his shoulder and gets 11. Marlon Humphrey missed a tackle along the way. Laporta got in the way, and then David Montgomery put an exclamation point at the end of it.
Well, really good job by Jared Goff because, as I mentioned, the Ravens are trying to disguise coverage, and then they go to a 2 deep here, and he knows that he doesn't have what he wants down the field. He comes down immediately, checks it down to Montgomery, and then he makes Roquan Smith miss. And then Sam Laporta, he's out there making a key block. So this has been a successful drive already, just getting the ball off their own goal line.
Play action from Goff, and he's going to go. And a nice pickup on first down. He doesn't do it a lot. Only 5 rush yards through the first 2 games. He gets 5 here.
Yeah, he's got enough. You know, he can get out of danger every now and then. But, you know, there was always this conversation about Jared Goff that when he had pressure, that he didn't handle it very well, and he probably didn't real early in his career when he was with the Rams. He handles the pressure just fine, as long as he doesn't have to move off his spot. But when you get him off the spot with pressure, that's when he hasn't been quite as effective.
Both backs in the game. Gibbs, nowhere to go. Marlon Humphrey got through. Malachi Starks forced him out. And a loss of 3 on the play as that thing was blown up by this Ravens defense.
Well, Marlon Humphrey, this guy's been doing it a long time. And for him to be one of the better cover guys and then come up and do what he does in the run game, you see that from both sides, whether it's the Lions DBs or the Ravens DBs. These guys are pure football players. Tip my hat to these personnel people that bring these type guys in, but Marlon's been playing at that level for a long time.
3rd down and 8. Goff slings it. Laporta, first down. That is back-to-back 3rd downs. He's found Sam Laporta, who was a Pro Bowler in his rookie year. Last year tapered off a little, gets 14 here.
Well, when you show these looks, as the Ravens are doing, they try to disguise things, they bring them up. You're going to see they turn and try to run underneath things, and they just don't know exactly where their landmarks are. So when you come off the ball, Sam Laporta, just go where they're not. And you see that open space and the chemistry that he has with Goff. Pretty easy connection.
Lions moving the football, keeping Lamar Jackson off the field. On 1st down, Montgomery. Boy, this defensive front that is playing without one of the best defenders, not just on the Ravens, but in the league, in Nnamdi Madubuike, has done a nice job up front in the run game.
They really have. And then without Kyle Van Noy, another Pro Bowl player, led the team in sacks last week. So Zach Orr, the defensive coordinator, he's got his hands full tonight, trying to come up with ways to slow down this offense. But he's changed what they do a little bit. Remember Wink Martindale? Heck, they brought everything in the kitchen sink, and then even with Mike McDonald, they were more aggressive. This defense is not as much a blitzing defense as they've been in the past.
Here's a good carry by Montgomery. Strong run. He's about a half-yard short of a 1st down. The former 3rd-round pick by the Bears came as an unrestricted free agent to the Lions, and he and Gibbs make the best tandem in the league.
You know, Sam Laporta, as I watched him this week, I think he's a very underrated blocker. I mean, he's one of the best tight ends catching the football, but he gets in there and he mixes it up. And I talked to Dan Campbell about it this week, and he said that's the area where he's improved the most, and he has no reservations of having him block a defensive end one-on-one.
Here's Gibbs. He's got the 1st down. So the drive will continue. And Sam Laporta is on that long list of Iowa tight ends that have come into the National Football League and just been outstanding.
Yeah, whatever's in the water there, boy, they're raising them some good tight ends. There's no doubt about that.
Look at you going country. They're raising them some good tight ends, baby.
You know, this drive is demoralizing right now for a defense. You got them backed up on their own 2-yard line to start this drive. And like I said, the first down made it a win for the Detroit offense, but here they're still rolling.
Good protection for Goff. Flag on the play in the secondary, and Gibbs is forced out with a gain of 9.
I think the Henrietta in me was coming out there, Joe.
Kittle's on that list. Dallas Clark, who had a great career, is on that list. T.J. Hawkinson.
Defense number 14. Penalties decline.
Noah Fant.
Result of the play, 2nd down.
Goes on and on and on, and they called it against Kyle Hamilton, Mr. All-World for the Ravens, as he was working on Laporta.
This guy, Kyle Hamilton, I know everyone knows how good he is. You can't watch the Ravens play and have a broadcaster not highlight Kyle Hamilton and all that he does. With that said, I still don't know if he gets the credit he deserves. He is some kind of football player.
1st down carry by Montgomery, and he almost broke it. A gain of 8. Well, they can just keep coming at you because they can rotate these backs. And Montgomery can do, he's not the same back as Gibbs. They're different types.
They are, but on 3rd and 1, who'd they give the ball to? Jahmyr Gibbs. You get labeled in this league, and I get it, that Montgomery's more of the between the tackles physical runner, which he is.
44.
But Jahmyr Gibbs, He's a tough runner as well, so that's a heck of a 1-2 punch that they have, and it's been nice to see Montgomery do what he's done since coming from Chicago to Detroit.
Haven't called his name tonight, Roquan Smith.
They called it a lot last week.
Yeah. He had an all-world game against the Browns. Here is Montgomery getting 10 again. 10-plus touchdowns each of the last 2 years. And they're the first duo that can say that in NFL history. First down, Lions. Inside the 20, here's Gibbs. Trying to get to the edge, and they've done a nice job on Gibbs so far. Mike Green, who is going to get more work with the injury to Van Noy. Just a gain of 1.
Yeah, you know, we talked about these 2 young guards and the struggles they had week 1, and this play here, you see Mahogany, he leads up on the double team, gets to the second level, seals off Roquan Smith. Tate Ratledge, he did just as well on the other side, and those guys are settled in, and I know that was a real key for Johnny Morton coming in, trying to let them settle in, and I believe they have.
Gibbs picking his way, and about a yard and a half short of a first down as Malachi Starks, the rookie, made the stop.
Well, again, another look with Tate Ratledge and then Graham Glasgow up front. This double team right here between the center and guard. They work to the 3 technique, and then as they move up, they get to the linebacker level, and it's just an outstanding job. These guys are, I mean, this is a tough front. Now, you mentioned it, Joe, they're without Matabike, and you can't overstate how big of a loss that is for this Ravens group.
It's 3rd down and 1. St. Brown in the backfield, and Goff just takes it and gets it. I mean, this is going to be a 9+ minute drive, and a drive that started inside their own 2, and now they've got a 1st and goal with the ball sitting at the 9.
Yeah, this is the signature drive of the 3 games. You know, when you look at it, and there's nothing that feels better. There's Nnamdi Matabike, who's not in uniform tonight. Not sure exactly when he might be back, but what a big loss that is for this Ravens defense.
Yeah, they're kind of concerned about that neck injury. Here's Gibbs, perfect throw, and just short of the end zone. His knee may have been down when he got to the goal line. That's the call on the field, and they got it right.
Yep, good call by the officials. Nice job by Jahmyr Gibbs as he comes out of the backfield. It's a little quick on the angle. He doesn't quite get straight up the field, but he just saw that he had open grass, and down there tight, he was going to give Goff a place to go with the football immediately. And that's the other part of this that Jahmyr Gibbs gives you. I talked about his toughness inside, but him as a receiver, just another element.
Montgomery back there with Goff on 2nd and goal. Montgomery gets it, and no call. They're saying he's short. Now the other official says touchdown. The near official said he didn't get it. The far official came in and calls touchdown, and let's just make sure. What a drive that was. And he's in.
That's as good as it gets. I mean, it's good no matter who you're playing, but when you're playing on the road against this Ravens defense, 98 yards, that's pretty impressive. That's a good call. You see the ball in the left arm, and Sam Laporta, he leads the way, and then you got St. Brown. He's helping try to make a block as well. That is one great drive.
They go 98.5 yards, and a drive that took over 9 minutes.
Confirmed. Please reset the game clock to 5:55, please.
And if you don't want Lamar Jackson to beat you, let him sit on the sideline.
Well, that's one way, and I think another thing, Joe, is I think we can stop talking about these 2 young offensive guards. I think you go 98 yards against the Ravens, and you run the football the way they did, and I think they've settled in, and they're good to go.
Bates for the extra point. 7-point lead. I keep underselling that drive.
I think you look at this roster, Joe, it's just, whether it's those two or other positions, I just think what Brad Holmes has done with the depth on this football team is as impressive as anything.
Here is Rasheen Ali able to break out, and the kicker, Bates, got him and brought him down and saved a touchdown. That was a touchdown-saving tackle. Let's send it down to Laura.
Well, Troy talked a lot about this offensive line for the Detroit Lions, and specifically the young guards in Tate Ratledge and Graham Glasgow. They're over on the sideline getting some oxygen. They're a little winded after that long drive, over 9 minutes. And actually, Tate Ratledge, when he came over to the side, he's like, that's one of the longest drives I've ever had in my life. He was shaking the sweat out of his mullet, you guys.
Get the big guys some oxygen.
I mean, that's the longest drive of Goff's career. It's got to be. I mean, you can't go much more. It was 98.5 yards. I don't think the field's much longer than that.
Well, you called it a big third down throw to get that drive going, when they were backed up. 13 runs on that 18-play drive. And, it's not that they're just rattling off a lot of big runs, but, that's what you've got to do. You got to stick with it. So, John Morton, the offensive coordinator, really good job of continuing to pound the football, mixing the passing game. That was a thing of beauty.
2nd down and 6. We'll give you that tackle by the kicker, Jake Bates, that saved a touchdown. Here's Jackson taken off, and he is wrestled to the ground by Barnes. Derek Barnes with a strong tackle, no gain. And here's the tackle by the kicker, Jake Bates. And if it wasn't him, it was a kick return for a touchdown.
Yeah, his eyes had to be like saucers when he said he's one-on-one, and he's the last line of defense. He did good. That's hey, whatever it takes, just get him on the ground.
Well, he's a former brick salesman in Houston, from Tomball, Texas.
Well, I hate to say what he might have been doing with them bricks on that last play.
Them bricks. That's what happened to you. 3rd down and 6. Jackson gets out of there and now fires. He's got Bateman for a first down. What a play by Lamar Jackson, extending it, forcing these cover guys to stick on their receivers, and that's good for 10.
Well, that's just it, Joe. They're locked up. Here they come, so it's man-to-man. There's nobody in the middle of the field, and as a defender, I mean, you're sitting there going, man, the ball's got to come out, and Lamar, he's able to throw that thing perfectly.
Wow. Lamar Jackson has the #1 passer rating of all time. Play action, and now this is a shot for Walker, setting up 1st and goal. Devontae Walker in his 2nd year, good for 33.
Well, again, it's a 5-man rush, so you're putting these corners out there on an island. You got Walker, who then, with his speed, is coming off the ball, and Terrion Arnold, I mean, he knows what he's up against. He knows this guy can just flat run by him, and so he, with the speed coming off the line of scrimmage, he gets Arnold turned around.
Here is Henry. He is to the 1. I mean, Devontae Walker came in tonight with 2 catches for 2 touchdowns, 3 catches in his career for 3 touchdowns. 4th-round pick from North Carolina, and he almost got #4 of his career on that one.
Yeah, he's already made some plays with the couple touchdowns you talk about, and he's going to be a special player. When you have a guy like him with that kind of speed, there's so much you get to do with him.
Henry, they stopped him. No gain on the play, and you see the frustration on Lamar Jackson's face, and it's 3rd and goal.
They're trying to go up tempo when they've had the big play. They did it on their opening drive possession for a touchdown. They've gotten to the line quickly. Sometimes that's good, and sometimes when you rush, you get the offensive lineman not quite dug in, ready for the ball to be snapped, and they don't come off in sequence.
It's going to take us to the 2-minute warning. It'll be 3rd down and goal when we come back. A little frustration for the Ravens as they get down there, but now we'll face a 3rd and goal from the 1. Fun first half. here at M&T Bank Stadium. They say it's a copycat league. It's been a copycat game. The Lions got a touchdown. The Ravens answered. The Lions went 3 and out. The Ravens went 3 and out. The Lions just got a touchdown, and here's a 3rd and goal from the 1 for the Ravens, trying to tie the game.
Well, they got 2 downs to do it.
A lot can happen the rest of the way. 2 minutes left, each side with all 3 timeouts remaining. As the Ravens hurry to the line. Toss to Henry. He doesn't get it. Cunningham was in there on the stop, and it's 4th down and goal. The offense will stay out there for John Harbaugh.
Wow, that's such a great job by Zach Cunningham, just filling it and not giving Derrick Henry an opportunity.
They hurry again to the line. Loss of 1 on that play. 4th and goal. Lamar keeps and is in trouble. Ball's out. And it's Detroit's ball. Jack Campbell made that play. And what a job by Kelvin Shepherd's Lions defense. Bates saved the touchdown on the kick return. Kelvin Shepherd's fired up. What a job.
You know, I mentioned how fast the Ravens were breaking the huddle to get to the line of scrimmage. They thought they would give them an advantage, but you see how quickly the Lions get lined up. They did that on 3rd down. They did it on 4th down. They've done it a few times earlier in this ball game, but the Lions just showed tremendous discipline of being prepared and then executing. And on that one, Lamar Jackson, he had no opportunity. There was nobody open, no separation. And then there's the game-saving, or excuse me, the touchdown-saving tackle by Bates. Awfully good job by everybody. Special teams, defense, really good stuff.
Not only did the Ravens not score, but they lost 18 yards on that fumble by Lamar Jackson. Yeah. And the ball is at the 20. What a play by Jack Campbell. Goff spins out and cannot connect with Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah, Jack Campbell, I agree, Joe. Such a good play by him in his 3rd year. Another Iowa player talking about Iowa.
Defense number 44. 5-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
And that's a penalty on Marlon Humphrey, so that's going to give the Lions another set of downs. But, yeah, this defense, you know, we talk a lot about the loss of Ben Johnson on the offense, but then Aaron Glenn goes to the New York Jets as a head coach. Kelvin Shepherd, what an impressive guy he is. As we take a look at that penalty on Humphrey. But he's got this group playing pretty good football.
On 1st down, Goff out to his left, just throws it away. Minute 12 left, 3 timeouts for Detroit.
A good tandem between those 2 guys, and the strength has always been this offensive line. The offense in general runs through them. When they're doing their job, everything else flows.
Quick throw, blitz was on, and Odafe Owe got through. It's a forward pass. They're letting it play on. And the officials are looking at each other. They're told to let it play, but that sure looked like a forward pass.
If that's not, then I don't know what a forward pass
No,
is.
this one will definitely be a forward pass. They'll bring this one back.
All right. After replay says it's an incomplete pass. 3rd down.
And Owe with a hit on Goff. They brought Roquan Smith on a blitz. And that offensive line we were just raving about had a tough time picking it up.
They did. They showed blitz, and so Taylor Decker, he blocked down, and it gave a free run then on Goff. And you can make the argument, Russell, that was helmet to helmet.
It was close to helmet, but he stayed a little low. I'm not surprised they didn't call it.
3rd down and 10 with the ball sitting at the 25. Amon-Ra St. Brown, well played by the Ravens. And the Lions do nothing with the ball. Nate Wiggins made that stop. And the clock will stop with 1:05 remaining as the Ravens will take a timeout. Almost had one tonight if not for Jake Bates, as Jack Fox will punt it. Wester waiting for it. Flag is down. Wester on the return, and he gets dropped after he crossed the 40.
Holding. Kicking team number 15. That 10-yard penalty be added at the end of the run. First down. Timeout.
They get Grant Stewart with a hold. Give you a look at the hold by Stewart as he grabbed Jake Hummel, who was coming through. Hummel blocked a punt against the Browns last week.
Yeah, I think you would have had a second one tonight if Stewart doesn't come over and tackle him. Although Russell Yerk doesn't seem to think he did anything wrong.
He does not. After the return of the penalty, the punt nets just 24 yards. So starting in Lions territory, Jackson, there he goes. First down and out of bounds. 2 timeouts left, 48 seconds on the clock, and a first down for the Ravens, who came up empty the last time they were down close.
Well, just take a look. Everybody's in man coverage, so they have their back to the quarterback, and that's, you know, that's the weakness of a man coverage defense. And when you're facing Lamar Jackson, it doesn't even matter if you have a spy on him, which they don't. He's not going to be as fast as Lamar is. So, you know, Kelvin Shepherd, he's sticking to kind of their DNA, and that is play physical man coverage. But Lamar Jackson able to get a nice play.
On first down, Jackson ducking around in the pocket, and now out to his right, he finds his running back, Justice Hill. And Hill with a nice gain as Lamar Jackson, he can extend a play better than anybody in the NFL. That was a gain of 4.
Yeah, and it's just hold on if you're back there in the secondary. And, you know, that's the challenge for Kelvin Shepherd. Again, first-time defensive coordinator, very impressive guy in visiting with him. He's been with the organization for the last several years with Dan Campbell. He learned under Aaron Glenn. Says Steve Spagnuolo is the guy who's influenced him the most. But whether it's him or Aaron Glenn, he learned from 2 aggressive defensive coaches.
Second down and 6. Sideline, Hopkins, catch is made. And a 13-yard completion for a first down.
Well, he does such a great job. Once he gets to the sidelines, he just stood there. You know, a lot of younger receivers will take off running and not knowing exactly what their quarterback might be thinking. Hopkins got over to the sidelines. He just stopped and then waited for Lamar to find him and made what is pretty routine for him.
Jackson, end zone. A lot of contact and a flag. Hopkins and Terrion Arnold. And it's against Arnold.
Yeah, I'd like to take a look and see.
Pass interference. Defense number 6. Flat foul. Automatic first down.
There was no question where there's the grab. I think it's a good call. There was no question where Lamar was going with the football. Hopkins was out there one-on-one. Now, it was a line drive. He could have laid it up and maybe given him more of an opportunity, but you know, there's a look at the defensive pass interferences that he had last year. It's been a tough start this year as well, but the Ravens have an opportunity here with 27 seconds to score. They get the ball again to start the second half, so they get a chance to double up.
It's first down and goal.
First and goal. They got a couple timeouts. Baltimore does, so they got the whole playbook.
Play action and touchdown Ravens. Bateman. Looked like that play was going to the right, and Lamar Jackson threw back to his left.
Yeah, it was totally designed, Joe. You're exactly right that Lamar Jackson's going to show like he's going to sprint out to his right, and then Rashad Bateman is going to come here and then back out. So the whole thing was designed with Zay Flowers then in behind that. But a good call, get the defense flowing, come back, to Bateman for the touchdown.
Derrick Henry with a nice block on Aiden Hutchinson to free up Lamar Jackson for the 3-yard touchdown pass. And we're tied. Ravens take advantage of the short field. They started at the Lions 49 and they go 49 yards in 32 seconds.
Hey, this is a heck of a ball game.
Halftime's coming up. Jason Kelsey, hopefully he got his wind back.
It's a chin strap, it's not a nose strap.
How is he breathing? Yeah, Jason, you can say no.
Yeah, sometimes you got to remind guys, you know.
Good for him. They're looking for him. They're missing. I don't know what kind of sacks that was. Somebody let the internet tell me. I'll crowdsource for what that was. There's Stanford Steve. Those two just chopping it up down there.
Chopping it up, yeah, just talking ball.
Talking ball. Like he did on the porch in Henrietta. Lions do have 3 timeouts if dangerous Dan Campbell wants to get frisky here at the end of the half.
Yeah, we'll have to see what this return might look like.
To Raymond. Khalif tripped up after crossing the 30, and now there's 8.
Both these quarterbacks tonight have had excellent first halves.
Only had 4 total incomplete passes between the 2 quarterbacks. Goff, he just returned that kick. Khalif Raymond, a gain of 4. And a timeout is taken by Detroit. So Dan Campbell is putting the pedal down as we'll welcome you inside the broadcast booth. Joe Buck and the new Henrietta Aikman over here to my right. We thought this would be a good game coming in, and it has not disappointed at all. Both teams really impressive tonight.
Yeah, they've been good. But it did remind me, one year I thought the Super Bowl was going to be played in Henrietta, but that's a whole nother story. So this first half has lived up to what we thought it would be coming into this game. It's a big game for both these teams. We talked about it being a measuring stick, and in a lot of ways it is, although they've shown me enough that as long as these guys can stay healthy, like the last several other years, they're going to be right there when it's all said and done.
2nd down and 6. Backpedaling, Amon-Ra St. Brown makes the catch, and boy, is he swarmed by the secondary of the Ravens. TJ Tampa, who's a young corner they like. They're playing again without Jair Alexander, who they signed after many years in Green Bay. And they figured that after knee surgery and then missing a few weeks, he missed 3 in August and September. He just wasn't ready. They hope next week, when they have a date with the Kansas City Chiefs, he'll be ready to go. They're at KC next Sunday.
Marlon Humphrey, talking about guys being a little banged up on that last play, he got up and he came into the game with a groin. He was questionable throughout the week with a groin injury. I'm not sure if that was maybe re-aggravated or a knee or an ankle or something, but they took him out.
7 seconds left. It's 3rd down and 3. With 1 timeout. And now defensively, the Ravens take a timeout. So pretty good by this Ravens defense, especially.
7 seconds, they're battling that. They need about 20 yards, and then they're at Jake Bates's career long, which would be a 58-yarder. So it's not inconceivable. They got to get the ball out. Guys got to know that if they catch the ball and they're in that range, get down, call timeout.
There's Amon-Ra St. Brown. Down he goes, and the last timeout will be taken. This league has changed. That was so smart by St. Brown to get down. He leaves 2 seconds on the clock. They used their last timeout. This league has changed so much. we're right around the corner from the first 70-yard field goal that this league has ever seen. But these teams now get around midfield, and they're thinking about field goals.
Yeah, I mean, and well, thinking field goals here, and even the fact that they went for it there. There was a time not long ago that with 20 whatever seconds were on the clock when they got possession of the ball, they would have just run it out.
And now the Ravens will spend a timeout. They're going to put the ball down at the 43-yard line, which would make it a 67-yard field goal. That would be the record if he hits this, the NFL record. Right now, that's held by Justin Tucker, the 13-year kicker, long time with the Ravens. This is a 60-yard try during the pregame that he hit. And this is beyond that. 67 yards.
Well, it's worth at least a shot, you know, although when you're talking about this distance, obviously you're not getting the ball up as quickly, and, you know, it gives an opportunity for this defense as well.
Wester's waiting in the end zone. He can return it. It falls short. Can Bates hit it? This would be an NFL record. Good snap, good hold. The kick is no good. Wide to the left. Ravens will receive the second half kickoff as we give you another look. And we'll send it down to Laura Rutledge with Dan Campbell.
All right, thank you, Joe. Now, the kick wasn't good there, but how would you describe the offense and the way it's functioned so far in this game?
Well, we've done a good job. You know, we wish we'd have been a little bit better there towards the end when we got the ball back, made a hell of a stop defensively. We talked about playing complementary football and helping each other out, and we've really done that. So, listen, I like where we're at. We got to regroup. It's a good team over there, but we'll bounce back and be good.
You called out time of possession as important in this one. You possessed the ball almost 20 minutes in that first half. What can you say about that?
Well, that's one of the things we wanted to do. You know, we were able to sustain drives. We got to be able to do it again in the second half.
All right, thank you, Dan.
All right, thank you.
Joe.
Laura, they had the longest drive in the NFL this season, that 10-minute
Couple of weeks, and he's the key, so he is a focal point for this offense.
Aiden Hutchinson tonight. He's been on the left side. He's been on the right side. More on the right tonight. And one snap on the interior of the defensive line. This is Ali and Rasheen Ali out across the 25. Moments ago, Lisa Salters caught up with John Harbaugh.
John, you get the ball to start this second half. There was some success, but also some frustration on offense in the first half. Just what do you have to clean up?
Well, we'd love to have finished that drive down there going in, but I thought our defense did a great job stepping up and getting that sack. You know, you go for it, pin them back in. That's kind of the worst case scenario, but then the ball got out to the 20, and then our defense stepped up. So I'm proud of it. It's going to be that kind of a game back and forth. Just find a way to win the next drive, win the next play.
You talked about your defense, that 18-play Lions touchdown drive seemed to take a lot out of them. Just what did you like about the way they just bounced right back?
I do appreciate the way they bounced back and fought. I mean, I thought we fought through the drive. We just didn't get off the field on third down, especially a lot of third and long. If we're getting third and long, we need to get off the field if we can, which we did the last two drives.
All right, thank you, Coach. All right.
Lisa, thank you. John, thank you. A little drop-off pass to Derrick Henry, and he goes forward for 7, and we're underway in the second half. 2nd down and 3 in a tie ball game.
Well, here's a look at Aiden Hutchinson, and he's kind of been a little bit quiet there in that first half, but he draws a lot of attention. So he gets the chip and the double team as he's been working both sides of the offensive line. He's been working against Ronnie Stanley, then going to the other side against Roger Rosengarten. But they come in, certainly, as every offense does, with a plan.
Henry is a yard short, maybe a half yard short of a first down as Jack Campbell made that stop. So 3rd down coming up. I said, and I just threw it out there, as you look at the numbers tonight, only 1 incompletion. Lamar Jackson has the best passer rating. Doesn't take into account the running at all. The best passer rating in the history of the league.
I saw that today as well, Joe. I don't want to say I was amazed, but I was a little surprised. But it does speak to what we've talked about and how much he has grown and how good he's been in the pocket as they were able to get the Lions what it looked to be offsides.
Defense number 51. 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
That's Roy Lopez, who is guilty of the neutral.
Well, we've talked about it before, and I've heard Steve Young talk about it. When he became feared is when he became a passer and less of a runner.
Here's a near pickoff. And it'll never be any easier for Brian Branch, and he just dropped it.
Oh, he reads it perfectly as well. He's got his eyes back on Lamar as he's carrying it up the field and just does an outstanding job. It's Mark Andrews who's in the seam. Or excuse me, he's got Mark Andrews, but then he's working back to the inside against Charlie Kohler, and it just bounces right off his hands. And you're right. I mean, there are guys who can't catch the football. Brian Branch is not one of them.
He'll be thinking about that going to bed tonight. Now 2nd down and 10. Blitz coming. Pass is caught by Andrews. And Campbell in on the stop, a gain of 4, 3rd down.
You know, and I was talking about it that with Steve Young, and he's talked to other quarterbacks that have come into this league about, yeah, it's great to be able to run, but ultimately you got to beat defenses with your arm if you're going to be a championship quarterback, and we've seen that from Lamar. I mean, they've got a great scheme, and they've got really good players around him, but watching him throw the football the way he has over the last several years now with Todd Monken as the offensive coordinator, it's been impressive. And what we showed with that graphic, him being rated #1 passer rating, pretty good.
3rd down. There's his first target. There's his first catch. Flowers, and they're going to give him a first down. Zay Flowers gets his first. They got a good spot. And first down for Baltimore.
Little pick here with Mark Andrews as he comes off the ball. And Zay Flowers comes underneath. They're anticipating man coverage because they're so heavy with Detroit's cover 1. And good call, good execution, and they're able to finally free him up for the completion.
Catch number 15 on the season, first of the night. There's Todd Monken. The job he has done in year number 3 as offensive coordinator for John Harbaugh and Lamar Jackson. Here's Henry. And Derrick able to take it inside the 45, got 4.
You know, even with that said, when we talk about what Lamar's done throwing the football, make no mistake, this is still an offense that just wants to be physical and run the football. And so even when you look at the yards, the passing yards, it doesn't really tell the entire story. Last year, they were 7th in the league in passing yards, but they were #1 in yards per pass. So that's a better indicator is just how effective they are throwing the football because they're going to run it more than other teams.
2nd down and 6. Jackson keeps wide open as Kohler. And he's got a first down after breaking a tackle, and the ball just outside the 25. 18 yards for Charlie Kohler.
Well, Charlie Kohler, I know he doesn't get many opportunities. That's his first target, but they just totally turn him loose. I mean, they don't even worry about him coming off the football. And that's you couldn't go out there and practice and have it any easier than that.
After replay assistance, the ball will be spotted at the 29-yard line. First down.
So they're going to say the knee was down or some body part was down on that last lunge by Kohler, and they moved the ball back to the 29. They moved it back 3 yards. Where it's 1st and 10. So they're without Isaiah Likely. He broke his foot at the end of July, had foot surgery on his right foot August 1st, and he is close to coming back. And another weapon for Lamar Jackson.
And you combine that with Patrick Ricard, their fullback, who's a big part of this offense. So they're missing some key guys.
Flowers in motion. Jackson keeps, floats it. Andrews got it. Strong catch by Mark Andrews against Brian Branch for 20.
And he was open a lot sooner as he came off the ball. His play action, but Brian Branch is locked up one-on-one. He's not even looking in the backfield. He's got his eyes on Andrews, but Andrews just comes off the ball, runs right past him. So he had a lot of separation, but Lamar wasn't ready to throw the football at that time. Then it became contested. That's a great job by Andrews going up and making a play.
Branch couldn't make that play, couldn't make the interception earlier on this possession.
Yeah.
First and goal right at the 10. Henry's going to throw, lobbing it, and that could have been picked off by DJ Reed. Tylan Wallace was the target, and an ill-advised pass. The Ravens are lucky that wasn't intercepted.
Yeah, as soon as he slows up, as soon as Derrick Henry comes out and slows up, it doesn't look good. But he had Lamar Jackson out the other side. If he had stopped and looked, and you know in practice they had talked to him saying, hey, Lamar Jackson is an outlet if you want to get back to it. But they totally turned him loose. But as soon as Henry stopped and kind of double clutched, it was not good. He probably should have just thrown it away.
Now second and goal. Jackson trying to find somewhere to go. Brought down from behind. And that's Al-Quadin Muhammad, who they're going to count on a lot after the injury to Marcus Davenport. He gets his second sack.
Well, when we talked to Todd Monken, what did he say? Lamar Jackson, it's kind of the price of playing business, or cost of doing business, excuse me, that he doesn't throw it away. You know, that he's going to try to make a play, and he tried to there and then lost some yards.
Since last year, just, well, under one on average throwaway a game. Number 2 in the league to Baker Mayfield. And now on third down, Andrews, diving catch, touchdown Ravens.
You know, Alex Anzalone, he's in coverage. It's pretty good coverage, actually. He's locked up man-to-man, and this is just, it's a good route by Andrews, and then it's just a perfectly thrown ball by Jackson. He just lays it out there and gives Mark Andrews an opportunity to just go make a play, but not bad coverage overall by Anzalone trying to stick with Mark Andrews. Just a perfectly thrown ball.
On a perfect night for Andrews. The extra point now by Luke. 7-point Ravens lead. Responded well.
A guy who's done so much for this organization, to have to live with that throughout the offseason. He's had himself a night. You knew it was coming. You didn't know exactly when, but he's just been too valuable to this offense.
That
Short
was
free kick.
short.
Kicking team number 33. Volley placed at the 40-yard line. First down.
Well, that's the second time that Tyler Loop, the rookie, has been short of the landing zone, and that means the ball comes out to the 40. So he's had a couple of bad kickoffs and now adds another. We'll check in with Lisa in a moment. And I'm seeing a lot of these kickers that are trying to figure out ways to just get it into the landing zone, and he was just short of doing that.
Yeah, it gets costly when you're in a game like this against an offense like the Lions.
Goff low for Jamison Williams. Let's check in with Lisa.
Yeah, Joe, well, Lamar Jackson told us this weekend he was not worried a bit about Mark Andrews or his state of mind coming into this game with just 2 catches for 7 yards. He said Mark is good, and he reminded us that Andrews got off to a slow start last year, just 6 catches for 65 yards, 0 touchdowns through the first 4 weeks of 2024. He finished with 11 touchdowns. So Lamar said, we start the same every year. Everybody else gets the ball, then defenses take their eyes off Mark, and he goes crazy.
Well, he's gone crazy tonight. Here's Gibbs, nice run, and he got hit and hit hard by Chidobe Awuzie. Longtime corner in this league, but a gain of 7. 3rd and 3 coming up. Here's the hit by Awuzie.
Yeah, Awuzie, I mentioned it. You see the hit. That's a big-time hit. And when you watch both of these defenses play, you know, Awuzie, he's a cover corner. He's a good player. But whether it's for the Ravens or for the Lions, it doesn't matter that you're a cover corner. You better be a tackler as well. And for the most part, all these defensive backs are.
3rd down and 3. Good protection, good throw. And Laporta's got another conversion on 3rd down. He couldn't have handed it to him any better than that. What throw.
Well, it's such a great, Roquan Smith is the one who's in coverage, and here he is, and he does an excellent job. As Laporta comes out, he acts like he's going to go break outside, comes back in, but the ball had to be thrown just perfectly as it was.
Laporta's got 3 catches, all on 3rd downs, and all have converted. They hand to Gibbs. They've stayed with a run. Gibbs gets 10.
Well, when you look at the Lions last year, Joe, talking about 3rd downs, they were 4th in the NFL converting 3rd downs, and it hasn't been great the first couple weeks of the season, and it's been even worse when it's been 3rd and 6 plus. I mean, they had converted just 1 of 14 coming into this game tonight, and yet they've done a heck of a job. There's a look at John Morton, and they're converting 70%. That 98-play drive, or the 98-yard drive they had, a lot of 3rd down conversions. Goff's been good on that down.
They mark Gibbs short, so they hand it to him here, and he picks it up on 2nd and less than 1. John Jenkins, 13-year pro from Georgia, made that tackle, but not before a 1st down pickup by Jahmyr Gibbs. We saw John Morton, the 1st-year offensive coordinator with the Lions, takes over for Ben Johnson, who 3 years as the OC in Detroit. They led the league in points per game. 18th year in the league as a coach for Morton. Spent the last 2 seasons with Sean Payton in Denver. But he was with Detroit before he went to Denver. Very comfortable coming back in, calling plays. On 1st down, a toss to Montgomery. Throws back to Goff, who airs it out for St. Brown. What a play. And what a time to show John Morton as they go into their bag of tricks and come up with that for 17.
Yeah, buy a little time, a little trickery, take the home run shot if you have it. If you don't, then you get an opportunity to try to take that intermediate throw, which is exactly what he does. Initially, you look at this and you say, okay, was it backwards? It was backwards. So they do a heck of a job there as far as the execution goes. And then Goff being patient and not being too greedy on the play.
St. Brown in motion. Goff for St. Brown. He is there, and he's got it. Touchdown, Detroit. What a throw and catch. Working against Marlon Humphrey, and we're an extra point away from a tie game.
Yeah, this is Jared Goff just at the top of his game. One, an excellent route by Amon-Ra St. Brown. Double move on Marlon Humphrey. So Goff isn't so much worried about St. Brown winning on the route. He's got to hold Hamilton. The safety, is watching as well. And he has to hold him to keep him from going over the top. He does that perfectly and then throws a great ball.
What an answer by Detroit. 7 plays, 60 yards in 3.5 minutes. And we're tied at 21. And that was footage from a June visit. Amon-Ra visited a preschool that he attended in Leverkusen, which borders the city of Cologne. Only speaks to his mom in German. That was detailed in a Monday Night Countdown piece with Amon-Ra. And he just took it into the end zone on that beautiful throw from Goff. And now Jake Bates kicks it out of bounds.
38. Ball in place at the 40-yard line. 1st down.
Let's go down to Laura Rutledge.
Well, Joe, Amon-Ra St. Brown said being German is really important to me, really a crucial part of my life. As you mentioned, he only speaks German to his mom, so he gets a lot of practice with it. But really, German was his first language growing up. His mom, Miriam, only spoke German in the house to him and his brothers. And he also goes back to Germany at least once a year. He loves the culture and loves celebrating it.
Well, his family's very proud of him. They've got an extremely athletic family. as Zay Flowers makes his second catch. Little catch and run. Got a good block from Mark Andrews, who had a touchdown the last time the Ravens had the ball, and a gain of 7.
You mentioned Amon-Ra St. Brown, and I talked earlier about the job that Brad Holmes has done as general manager, acquiring talent for this team. When St. Brown is a 4th-round pick, and the quarterback is saying he's the best receiver he's ever thrown the ball to, and you name some of the guys he's thrown the ball to over the years, I mean, that kind of tells you what Brad Holmes has done with this roster.
Second down and 3. Lamar Jackson is going to be wrapped up by Muhammad, his second of the night. Al-Quadin Muhammad. He is with his 5th team. He's in his 7th year, 30 years old, and they are really going to be leaning on him.
Yes, they are. And whatever he may lack in ability, he makes up for just in his tenaciousness in the way in which he continues to compete and battle and the effort that he gives. And that's what allows him to make the play here. I mean, he definitely is being relied on. You lose Marcus Davenport, and others have to be able to come in and kind of fill that void, and they trust that he'll do it.
3rd Lions sack of the night. Jackson incomplete for Bateman, who gets hit by Branch. So after the kickoff out of bounds and field position at their own 40, the Ravens don't do anything with it, and a punt is next.
Yeah, it's not easy to do for this defense, give them that kind of field position and force a 3 and out, get the ball back to your offense. That's well done.
Jordan Stout will punt it with Khalif Raymond waiting for it. Raymond averaging about 7.5 yards per return. Stout hits it. Booming punt. Raymond this time lets it go over his head, and this time it checks up inside the 5. At the 4. And Stout dropped it in. This is not the worst starting field position for the Lions tonight. Remember, they started inside their own 2 and went 98 yards, 98.5 to be exact.
Well, the whole key is getting that first down, as I talked about. You got to give some room for your punter, Jack Fox, if you're not able to keep the ball. But that's the first thing on Jared Goff's mind, is just trying to get a new set of downs on this possession.
Montgomery is able to get through and get 11. Strong run by David Montgomery, and a good job yet again by this reshuffled offensive line of the Lions.
Yeah, just watch these guys come off the ball and the job that they do. I mean, it's just excellent work. You got guys on, and again, Sam Porta, we've highlighted him tonight and what he's able to do, and a big part of it.
So they get that breathing room, and the ball's sitting at their own 15. Montgomery stays in. They fake it to him, throw to Amon-Ra St. Brown. And it's out of his reach. One of the rare errant throws by Goff all night.
Yeah, that's one he'd probably like to have back. You know, going back to that offensive line, Joe, Hank Fraley played in the league for a long time. He's been a long-time coach as well. He was here before Dan Campbell in Detroit. This is his 8th year as the offensive line coach with the Lions. He came in with Matt Patricia, but a quality coach. He's been around some really good offensive minds, and he's had his work cut out for him this year, and he's got him playing tonight.
Here's another good run by Montgomery. He is out, being chased by Humphrey, and brought down near the 15. What a run by David Montgomery behind that offensive line, and a big play here tonight.
Well, yeah, it's just an excellent job up front. You've got the right guard, rookie Tate Ratledge, and Penei Sewell along with Sam Laporta, and it's just excellent blocking on that side. And then Montgomery's got the crease, is able to make a guy miss, and off and running.
72 yards, 3rd longest run of the career of David Montgomery. Now Gibbs. As that Baltimore defense has got to be a bit winded, especially Marlon Humphrey, who had to come out after chasing Montgomery down the field, and David's coming back in after Gibbs gets 5.
Well, you know, you look at this game, and the worse the field position gets for the Lions, the better they play. You know, they're backed up inside the 5, and I've said it, you just try to get a new set of downs, and next thing they're inside the 10-yard line looking for a touchdown.
Both backs in there. Goff, Laporta, good tackle. That play made by Keon Martin, who is a rookie and a tryout player that just opened their eyes, forced his way onto the team. He made a nice tackle there, and it's 3rd down and 4.
Well, this has been one heck of a ball game. It's a heavyweight fight for week 3. And we talked about it being a measuring stick to see where these teams were after some disappointing week 1 losses, and they just continue to exchange blows.
3rd down and 4. Play clock is at 5. Timeout taken by Dan Campbell, who was sauntering down the sideline. It'll be 3rd down and 4 with 36 seconds. Play clock was expiring, so Dan Campbell had to use his first time out of the half. 90 yards over 5 plays, the 72-yard run by Montgomery, and now it's 3rd and 4.
Yeah, and you got to believe that Dan Campbell has told Johnny Morton that he's got 2 downs to pick it up if they don't get it here on 3rd. As aggressive as Dan Campbell he did to start this game, can't imagine he wouldn't be here.
Here's Gibbs. His knee went down and he didn't get it. It's going to be 4th down, and if the Lions want to let the quarter expire and pick this up in the 4th, they can, but right now they're hurrying back to the line. They did not substitute. They can go right back under center.
I would think they'd want to take it to the 4th.
And that's where we go. At the 4.
This is when, if you're the Baltimore Ravens, you sure wish you had Nnamdi Madubuike in the lineup.
He's out with a bad neck. They don't know how long he will be out. They're also without Kyle Van Noy. 2 Pro Bowlers not out there on this defense for the Ravens. 4th and 1. They pitch to Gibbs. Touchdown! It went from Goff to Amon-Ra St. Brown, and he pitched it to Gibbs. And like Ben Johnson would call,
yeah,
it was a gadget play, and boy, was that a thing of beauty.
Yeah, well, we've seen Johnny Morton dial up a couple of these tonight. This is good execution. They get it to St. Brown, and then he pitches it out to Jahmyr Gibbs to get him on the edge with the speed. There's a good look at Johnny Morton. He had a heck of a game plan last week in that big win against Chicago, and tonight here on the road, a lot of questions were going to be answered, and if there were any out there on him, he's answered those as well.
Up by 7. Before tonight, the last time the Ravens allowed a 95-yard touchdown in Baltimore.
Take a look at this drive this handoff here by Jared Goff as he gives it to Amon-Ra St. Brown. It's vertical, and the reason for that is then he's able to just pitch it. It's already in a position that he needs it to be in to pitch it quickly. They're working off of Mike Green, but that's just detail in the execution, and it's an excellent job by John Morton when he put that play in and having all the finer points of it detailed out.
Rasheen Ali returned it and then got tackled up high on the sideline. No flag, and it's Ravens ball down 7 as Rocky Yassin made that stop. And here's the Ravens offense back out there, now back down by 7 points.
Well, now it's the Ravens' opportunity to see if they can match the blow they just took. But just another great drive. John Morton has really done an excellent job. A guy who was picked anticipating he might lose Ben Johnson. He was always the guy that Dan Campbell had in mind.
Jackson breaking tackles. Anzalone won't let him go. Anzalone is celebrating his 31st birthday today, trying to help get a win here to get their record to 2-1. Been a good player for a long time in his 9th year. 2nd down and 7.
Well, I think these linebackers for Detroit are really good, and we've seen a lot of Barnes tonight because the Lions have played a lot of base defense matching the personnel that they've gotten from the Baltimore Ravens.
2nd and 7. Jackson out to his right, throws it away. It was too high for Flowers. That one just got away. Flowers was open as he worked against DJ Reed. 3rd down and 7.
3rd down and 7, and you know Baltimore hasn't had near as many of them. They've had 7 third downs tonight. They've converted 4 of them, but now would be a good time to convert their 5th.
Kelvin Shepard, first-year defensive coordinator. Played for the Lions, was an 8-year linebacker in the league. 3rd down, 7 yards. Jackson over the middle. He's got Bateman, 1st down. Perfect throw, 19 yards, and into Lions territory go the Ravens.
Well, Tylan Wallace, number 16, he goes through the defense. He clears out a defender and just opens it up. Watch Tylan Wallace and the impact that he then has on Branch at the safety, and then that opens it up in behind for Bateman to be able to make the play. It's a good design and excellent job by Lamar Jackson just reading it out.
Toss to Henry. And a pretty good tackle by Jack Campbell. There's a flag down out on the edge. Campbell's been dealing with a bloody mouth most of the night.
Foul. Low black. Defense number 32. 15-yard penalty. Automatic 1st down.
It's against Brian Branch.
And here he is, right here in your screen. You can't. Yeah, I don't know. I'll leave that to you, Russell.
Troy, I don't see a penalty there. I think he initiated contact high. He slipped down. I don't like that as a foul.
Well, that's a big call. It takes the ball inside the Detroit 32. That'll make it 1st and 15 as Kohler jumped.
False start. Offense number 88. 5-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
Let's go down to Laura.
Well, Joe, you pointed out the bandage on Jack Campbell's lip. He had a significant split cut on his lip. They worked on it for a while. Credit to the athletic training staff to get the bleeding to stop. They added a face shield to his helmet, and this is the hit where it happened. He's been dealing with a lot of pain, a lot of blood on the sideline.
It was a hit from Justice Hill. Playing through it. 1st down and 15.
They got man coverage across the board.
Pass is underthrown. Jackson was under pressure, and Hopkins was the target. As Tyler Lacey had pressure on Lamar Jackson, he was picked up off waivers from the Jaguars.
Yeah, the Lions are going to come after you, and you could tell by the way they were positioned with the defensive backs that they were locked up in man coverage, and here they were coming, and so good job by them. Force the ball out of Lamar Jackson's hands and see if they can't cover for the time that it takes for him to get it out, and mission accomplished.
Jackson wide open. First down, Ravens. Bateman again. And 16 yards from Lamar Jackson.
Well, again, they're trying to disguise. They're going to show that they're all coming up here. And then you got Brian Branch, who's going to run to a two-deep look. And as he's running out of there, it just opens it up. As you see just how much space there is then for these receivers. And Bateman just sits right down in the hole. And nice completion.
Jackson wanted to take off, and he is brought to the ground, and a good play by DJ Reader. Dealt with a quad injury last year. They would love to see DJ Reader get back to the Bengals DJ Reader that they signed as an unrestricted free agent going into last season, and maybe another year of health will get him there.
They're relying on a lot of guys, this year, especially with Marcus Davenport going down again. And they had looked at maybe bringing in another edge rusher, but felt that depth was more important with all the injuries they went through last year.
Second down and 9 now. Jackson one-on-one, and that little battle was won by Nowaski. They blew it dead. It's not a fumble, but Jackson was making moves, and Trevor Nowaski didn't flinch and brought him down.
No, he did not. He hung in there and was able to make a good tackle. Not many guys are able to do that on Lamar Jackson. You see, he's kind of in a spy technique, and then as Lamar starts to try to scramble up in the line, boy, he was right there to make a play.
And a loss of 4. That's the 4th Lions sack, and for Nowaski, his first of the year, and it's 3rd and 13. Jackson trying to find somewhere to go. Time runs out and tripped up by Barnes. And Lamar Jackson was one guy away from getting out of there, and Derek Barnes saved the day for Detroit. Kelvin Shepard loving every second of it.
And Derek Barnes initially goes to coverage. He goes out, and he's just kind of watching with his eyes. He's waiting for somebody to come in his area. It's just a 4-man rush. And then when he sees Lamar start to move, he comes in and makes a play. And if he doesn't do that, very instinctive on his part, there was nobody out in front of Lamar.
That is sack number 5 tonight for the Lions defense. And a 41-yard try by Tyler Loop. He got it. Looked like it went over the top of the upright. Field goal was good. And this is a 4-point game with the Lions about to get it back with under 10 to go. Returned by Sailors. Bends it back and gets out to the 35.
Important as the play caller, sticking with it. 29 runs, 23 passes against this defense. He played the game you got to play.
Lions are over 7 yards per rush, and Troy, as you said, that 72-yarder by Montgomery inflates those numbers, but still the impressive thing is that John Morton is stuck with it, even when at times it looked like there wasn't much room in there as Gibbs gets 5.
And then, what allows you to do that? What allows you to do that is converting then on 3rd down. And Detroit has been really good on 3rd down tonight, so then they get a new set of downs, and then they're able to run the football a couple times more. So they've been able to lean on that a little bit and kind of take the fight to this Ravens defense.
Play action here is Goff lets it go, and what a good play. Tesla was the target, and Nate Wiggins got his hand in there and knocked it away. Good effort.
Really good effort. Roquan Smith, he's the one who blitzes and gets in the face of Jared Goff. He comes a little bit late, but there's the one-on-one matchup, and Wiggins does an excellent job in coverage, locked up man-to-man. Here's another look at Roquan Smith. but they know what's at stake. Big third down here.
3rd down and 5. Play clock is at 0, and that's a flag. Now the officials running in. Hold on a second. Maybe the sideline got the timeout called.
Okay. Prior to the play clock expiring, Detroit called the second charge timeout.
So they're going to pick up the flags, and it was Dan Campbell on the sideline that called it, but the play clock just about to hit 0.
It's a great job by Dan Campbell, just paying attention and then being quick to call the timeout. I would have to. I've never been a head coach that had to do it, but here you are trying to figure out, is he going to get the ball off? Is he not going to get the ball off? And you're trying to decide that as the head coach, and he does it just in time. Goff's trying to get the ball snapped, but everyone else has their head down. He sees the play clock going down, but a big 3rd down right here, even with 8 minutes and 48 seconds to go. If the Lions convert here, there's a good chance they're coming away with points. If they can come away with a touchdown on this drive, they get a chance to put a bow on this one.
Quick snap. Goff steps through, throws, incomplete, 4th down. There was some room in front of Jared Goff, but he cut it loose instead of trying to pick it up with his legs.
Yeah, he had him too. If he, the decision wasn't so bad, he just wasn't able to deliver the catchable ball. Now, whether or not he could have picked it up with his legs, he didn't feel that he could have. Would have been close, but he did have his guy if he makes a better throw for the 1st down.
Raymond was the target. Pass too low, and now Fox hits it. Nice catch by Wester. Makes a move and able to get across the 20. 11-yard return. This drive starts at the 21, down by 4. Handoff to Henry, and he gets it punched out. It's recovered by DJ Reed. Knocked out on the play by Aiden Hutchinson. And it's yet another fumble for Derrick Henry. Hutchinson knocked it out. And that's 1 fumble per game by Derrick Henry, and it was Aiden Hutchinson right there that knocked it out of the left arm of Derrick Henry.
Yeah, he was up the field. He was taking care of Lamar Jackson, and so as he gets up the field, but he just continues to play, and so he works back, pure effort. And once he peels back, Henry doesn't know that he's pursuing the football, and then is able to punch it out.
It was a crushing fumble that he had in week 1 at Buffalo. They got through it last week. And this one, how much is this going to hurt as they hand to Montgomery with under 8.5 to go.
Hutchinson just continuing to play, even though it looked like he was out of the play. Just pure effort.
Montgomery right up the gut down to the 5, and a flag comes in at the end of the play.
Yeah, Ravens are signaling it's going to go on Detroit with a hold.
And it is. It's going against Detroit. That was the indication.
Personal foul, face mask. Offense number 73. 15-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
They get Christian Mahogany, the 2nd-year pro from Boston College, and Brent Urban is the one who had his face mask grabbed.
Sorry, right here.
By Mahogany. And instead of 1st and goal with the ball at the 5, that 15-yard penalty takes the ball back out to the 28.
Well, that certainly helps. You take a look here at Derrick Henry with the fumbles that have plagued him this year. But this defense, they've got to be able to make a stop. They have not been able to make a stop in the red zone tonight, but that penalty sure helps.
2nd and 22 as a result. They hand to Gibbs. Not much. let's go back to that fumble forced by Aiden Hutchinson on the carry by Henry.
Yeah, you see, he's worried about Lamar Jackson, and he comes up the field and he just continues to play. And in big games like this, you need your great players to show up big, and well, he certainly did. Now, can the Ravens defensively do their part to keep this a one-possession game?
It's 3rd down and 21. This one floated for Tesla. Incomplete. 4th down. And one other note on the fumbles by Henry. It's the first time in his 10-year career he has had multiple fourth-quarter fumbles lost in the same season. And we're just in week 3.
Well, I think if you look at it, or Derrick Henry, he's got to get that out of his mind as quickly as he possibly can, because they're going to need him on this next possession. After the opening drive, he really hasn't done anything the rest of the night as far as on the ground.
45-yard try to make it a 7-point game again by Bates. And he drills it. 31-24. And Henry has earlier, DJ Reed recovers the fumble that was forced by Aiden Hutchinson, and they were ready.
He looked like our producer Steve Ackles rolling that ball. Remember we were bowling that night?
He's talented.
He is a talent.
He's our producer, Artie Kemner, our director, with Lisa Salters and Laura Rutledge down on the field. Troy and Joe up in the booth, and 6.5 to go. Rasheen Ali to return another kick, and he's back there with Justice Hill.
Yeah, the defense did their part. They've given up some big drives, long drives for touchdowns, but man, they needed them on that last one, and they showed up.
It's Ali from about the 10 to the 31.
Offensive right tackle. This year he's mixing it up a little bit more, but as all great players do, they show up and make big plays when they need it, and he did on that last drive.
Lamar Jackson, there he is, Hutchinson. Sack number 6 for the Lions. The family loves it. Mom and Dad love it, and a loss of 6 on the play.
This time he takes an inside move. You're going to see Ronnie Stanley, the left tackle, as he slides out. They're moving protection that way to try to take care of him, and yet he takes an inside counter move and then has a straight shot on Lamar.
Now 2nd down and 16. Here's Hill. Terrion Arnold first to get to him. 3rd down coming up. Gain of 4. Yesterday, the NFC North watched Green Bay suffer their first loss of the year as they blew that late lead and lost to the Cleveland Browns. So they go to 2-1. Lions trying to get to 2-1. Same story for the Ravens. 7-point game, 3rd down and 12. Jackson can't find anywhere to go, and he's brought down again from behind. And again, it's Al-Quadin Muhammad. It'll go down as a run. It's not a sack, but it is an effective play by 96 again.
Yeah, no doubt, Joe. The effort that he has shown, I pointed it out a little bit earlier. This is what the coaches like so much about him coming off the ball, as he comes up the field here, and then he just continues to play. Anzalone misses him, but yet he's there to clean it up.
Stout hits it. Raymond waiting for it as that punt will head out of bounds. Kelvin Shepherd has done some job. Look how far this ball went out of bounds, up at the 30. That's where they'll mark it. Just a 38-yard punt. And here is Al-Quadin Muhammad not quitting on the play. And Kelvin Shepherd told us Al-Quadin Muhammad is going to be okay as kind of the last man standing across from Aiden Hutchinson to rush in.
Yeah, they like him, and I like Kelvin Shepherd and what he has brought. You know, he's continued to play the style, and I'm not surprised. Dan Campbell knows what he wants this team to be. He felt Kelvin Shepherd was the guy to name him as the defensive coordinator. They continue to play this aggressive style. They take it to these offenses, and the defense has responded to him.
Here's Green crashing down on it. Gibbs runs away from him. And he is out of bounds, but a nice gain on first down. Maybe just a little bit more on Kelvin Shepherd, who, as I mentioned earlier, had an 8-year playing career as a linebacker. He's been the linebackers coach with this team, the Lions, since 2022. Played for Buffalo, Miami, the Giants, Indianapolis, Detroit. Never thought he would be a coach, but now that he's in it, he loves it.
Yeah, Dan Campbell said when he was with him in Miami, he always knew he'd make a great coach when he was still a player.
Here's a strong run for a first down by Gibbs. And the good teams, and you certainly were on one of them, that could do what the Lions are trying to do. Salt away a lead. They're up by 7, run the ball, run the clock down, and when you know the runs are coming and you can't stop it, that means that this young offensive line is doing a good job for the Lions.
Yes, that's true. And I was going to say, Joe, it's harder and harder for teams to do that. It's never been easy, but it's become increasingly harder as we've gone more to these spread offenses. Teams have relied more on the pass. That it's hard to run the football when the defense knows you're going to, but the Lions, as Dan Campbell often says, they're built for this.
Gibbs, well played by the Ravens defense, a gain of 2. You know, we talked about the young guards that the Lions have. They have the 10-year vet Glasgow at center, and then 2 outstanding tackles. Penei Sewell, who's one of the best players in the league. That's him right in the middle, 58. And Taylor Decker, who's playing through a bad shoulder, 68 out at left tackle.
And last year, and really for the last several years, they've been so strong. And this team, I don't think it's a stretch to say they're going to go as far as those young guards allow them to go, because they're pretty solid everywhere else. But they've had a good showing tonight.
2nd and 8. They hand to Montgomery. 3rd down coming up. The Lions have a date with the Browns next. As I mentioned, Browns just beat Green Bay. Then they're at Cincinnati, the Joe Burrow-less Bengals. At Kansas City, and then back on Monday Night Football before their bye week against the Tampa Bay Bucks.
Yeah, I think Dan Campbell's looking at this, and he knows, you know, try to get this down, but the ball has to be, they're not going to be able to take this to the 2-minute warning. It's just a split second off.
It's 3rd down and 5, and because of that, they can throw a pass. Safe. Gibbs won't get it. Brought down by Roquan.
Hours of the game here from both quarterbacks. Coaches go inside the winning locker room as well, and look forward to talking about this fantastic game with you and Troy. Joe, back to you. 4th and 2.
Yep. Yeah, and 4th and 2, and the Lions, Troy, look like they're going to go for it. They're 2 for 2 on 4th down tries in this game.
Yeah, maybe they try to hard count, draw them off sides, but didn't appear to be any hesitation from Dan Campbell. Not surprised. He's got big onions. I mean, this is a bold move. Even with a 1st down, they cannot run out the clock because the Ravens still have all 3 timeouts.
Montgomery in the backfield on 4th and 2. Goff keeps, floats. Amon-Ra, perfect throw and catch. Unreal, but a flag is down back at the 50. Here's the call.
Holding. Defense number 44. Penalties decline. Result of the play is first down.
Troy, how good was that throw?
It was his best throw of the night. I mean, this, with what was on the line, this ball had to be perfect. Marlon Humphrey, number 44, is going to be the one who grabs, and he's got his eyes in the backfield. He's just not anticipating that St. Brown's going to go out on the route. But this ball, he had a step. I'm watching it the whole way, but you got to make this throw. And the great ones make it. And Jared Goff lays it out there perfectly on fourth down. I mean, that's as good as it gets.
20 yards on fourth down and 2. They're 3 for 3 going for it on fourth down. You think these guys have any fun playing for Dan Campbell?
Yeah, that's, I mean, they know what they're going to do. I mean, it's no surprise. Jared will be asked about it after this game. He'll answer it. There was never a doubt that they were going to go for it on fourth. It's what they're used to. It's the way they're built.
Now Montgomery, he's going to break. David Montgomery is in for the touchdown. Just a stunning couple of plays back to back. And the Detroit Lions, it appears, are going to walk out of here with their second win of the year.
Well, we come in talking about these young guards, Mahogany and Tate Ratledge, and the job that they have done tonight, and really all 5 of those guys, along with the receivers. Jamison Williams, he's down the field blocking. 225 yards rushing tonight for the Detroit Lions.
Goff's telling him to go down.
Unless he could score. And then it's okay.
31 yards, and the Lions rushing attack in this game. 4 rushing touchdowns, 225 rush yards. And this is a 14-point game. And there's Taylor Decker with a hug for David Montgomery. Graham Glasgow, the 10-year vet at center. Boy, this is some impressive night. Hank Fraley, his nickname was Honey Buns when he played for the Philadelphia Eagles. What a job he's done with that group. And look at the rush yards tonight. And then when the Lions needed a perfect throw from Jared Goff all night long, they got it.
Well, as someone who was a part of a great offensive line and a great running back, and being able to do what the Lions have done tonight and ice a game, that I know how good that feels. You know, Jared Goff delivered the perfect throw on fourth down. But you mentioned Hank Fraley, the job that he's done with this group and what he's done since he came here to Detroit, and these young guys, and they've been questioned all week long, even after their performance last week. And to have the night they've had on the road in a big game, we talked about it being a measuring stick tonight. I mean, that's going to be one heck of a plane ride back to Detroit.
No head coach goes for it more on fourth down. He's done it 3 more times tonight since he's been head coach in 2021. Ali will take a knee. It'll come out to the 35. Think about Dan Campbell taking over in 2021. He got 3 wins his first year, 9 wins his second, 12 wins, franchise record 15 last year. He's got this team humming again here in 2025. This is a big win here tonight in Baltimore after that loss at Green Bay. Yes, they beat the Bears, but this has a different feel.
I agree, and they all count the same. You know, there's 17 of them, but there are some that feel a little bit different, and this is one of those.
Still a minute 42 remaining, 3 timeouts, but a 14-point game now. As Bateman downfield, it's out of his reach. Terrion Arnold with good coverage that time for the Lions. Lamar Jackson, his numbers, 18 of 24, 210. Those long drives just kept him off the field. They had 2 drives of over 95 yards for touchdowns tonight. The Lions did.
Yeah, just 49 plays right now offensively for Baltimore. And they had their opportunities, and offensively, they're not going to feel good about what they did.
2nd down and 10. Jackson in trouble again, and another sack. This time it's Anzalone and Al-Quadin Muhammad, who's been everywhere tonight, and that is a 7-sack night for the Lions on Lamar Jackson. Kelvin Shepard better get a game ball in this one tonight too.
Yeah, you know, I mentioned it. I was as anxious as anyone to see how the Lions would do with new coordinators. These guys, John Morton, Kelvin Shepard.
Big hit by Branch and a nice job by Hill. Survives that hit, and out of bounds he goes.
You know, you really got to give Dan Campbell all the credit. You know, we show the the win totals and how he's increased them. He'll have a hard time increasing from last year.
Yeah,
15-2. But you know, it's hard when you lose your coordinators. It's hard when you lose as many coaches off the staff as he did this past year, and then you're replacing them and then starting over. And I mean, it is really hard on a lot of levels, football-wise, but also to him personally. And yet he filled those vacancies, and by all accounts, it looks like he did a great job with it.
Nice throwing catch. Bateman made the grab. It's a total of 8, if you want to put a number to it.
Yeah.
The 2 coordinators and 6 assistant coaches, and yet they've filled in. These teams kind of mirror each other. They've got great coordinators. They've got GMs that find talent everywhere. They've got good ownership. Got a head coach that is in control, in charge. They've got great rosters. And for Dan Campbell to fill in with 8 new coaches under him with the Lions, it's impressive. Jackson steps through. Chased down from behind, and now out of bounds as Branch gets there for Detroit.
You know, when we talked to Dan Campbell about the respect that he has for the Baltimore Ravens, and he said as a first-time head coach, you ask yourself what you want your program to look like, and Baltimore is that team. And they've been doing it at a high level for 30 years. And Dan Campbell said, you know, that's what I wanted my program to look like, the way in which they compete, their physical style. They're aggressive, and everything is kind of in unison throughout the organization. The people they bring in, Eric DaCosta, of course, who replaced Ozzie Newsome as the general manager, and there's so much continuity in how they run the organization in Baltimore, and Detroit has been the same way, and the proof is in the results.
There's Ozzie, Hall of Famer 2 times over. 2nd down and 7. Jackson backpedaling. Andrews wide open, one-on-one, and he'll take it in, his 2nd of the night with 29 seconds to go. They'll go for 2, and then we'll have an onside kick. So that nothing happens easy in this league. Yesterday was a crazy day around the NFL. This would easily go down as the craziest if the Ravens were to get up off the deck 14 points down with under 2 minutes to go.
You know, we've been around this game a little too long, as has Jared Goff. When we showed him, you saw the look on his face after that touchdown.
Two-point try will be their first of the year. Jackson flips it. Flag is down in the end zone. And it's a hold against the Lions. We've referenced the crazy day that yesterday was around the NFL yesterday.
Holding defense number 32. Ineligible receiver downfield, offense number 77. Penalties offset, retry.
So we'll retry the 2-point conversion. There were 9 defensive and special teams touchdowns this week, most in 5 years. And the first day in NFL history with multiple blocked field goals returned for touchdowns in the 4th quarter, both with under 2 minutes to play yesterday. Backpedaling and incomplete for Zay Flowers. And here's a little look at what the league presents. The second successful onside kick of the season. Teams are 1 for 11. The only team to get one was Carolina in week 2 at Arizona. One other little note before we run out of time at the end. This is only the second time the Ravens defense has allowed 4 rushing touchdowns at home in their 30-year history since '96. And that's what the Lions have done tonight. Loop, the rookie, will try and come up with a perfect kick. Up it goes. Laporta, who's had a nice night. And the Lions will take over with 27 seconds to go. And that'll do it.
That'll do it. This is, as you mentioned, Joe, this was going to be a good win for whoever won it. But for Detroit to be able to win on the road, you can see what it means to Dan Campbell and that sidelines and everybody in a Lions uniform. But you know, this is a Ravens team that I still think is one of the best, and you know, you dig yourself a little bit of a hole. The good news is there's still a lot of football left to be played, but they've got a lot to clean up.
There is some bad news, though. They do have 3 upcoming opponents the next 3 weeks that all played in the divisional round of the playoffs, and they will head into Kansas City next week with a record of 1-2. That game on Sunday. And this is an 8-point win for the Lions to get to 2-1. And this was an impressive night all the way around for Detroit. 38 carries on the night for the Lions, 224 yards, 4 touchdowns. Goff 20 of 28, 202, 1 touchdown, no picks, and he made some big throws when they mattered most.
Well, he sure did. And what they were able to do on 3rd down tonight, you know, it was in a lot of ways the difference. But when they needed him to make the throw and deliver, he did it.
Let's send it down to Laura Rutledge with Jared Goff.